If by some miracle I do end up in heaven, and as you say, I get to enjoy an eternity in the presence of this ugly creator, my only question would be, do I really have to enjoy it? Because I don't think I'd be able to.
So I used to think this way a long time ago. And I'm sorry I might get a little bit emotional here, but a bit of background about me. When I was a baby, I was diagnosed with a disease that made my bones harder and more dense, which basically meant that I was in a lot of pain. I was told that as a baby, I cried a lot more than I normally should. And yeah, I don't doubt that. That sounds like it would have been a miserable experience. And I'm glad I don't remember that. And so what ended up happening out of that is that my optic nerve got crushed because, again, bones were doing things that they were not supposed to be doing. And we had to do a bunch of procedures and a bunch of other things. And we ended up having to get a bone marrow transplant. And luckily, I don't struggle with that anymore, although I still am blind and have some other problems. Now, my family was always a religious family. It wasn't as important back then to them as it is now, but they always had that belief. It's ironic that they say this experience made them have a lot more faith in God and care about religion a lot more, because as I grew up, it made me absolutely furious, and it made me not want anything to do with religion. Again, ironic, because my family always said that I am living proof that God exists. I am living proof that miracles exist, which now I believe. But like I said, as I was getting older, I believed these things until a certain point. Hearing these things made me infuriated, because I thought to myself, why did God allow me to be blind if he's an all-loving God? Why did he allow this to happen to me? Why does he allow bad things to happen to me at all? Why did he allow my uncle to pass away before I met him? Why did he allow my aunt to miscarry? Why did he allow all these other things that go wrong in my life? And so for a while, because I was thinking that, I didn't want anything to do with religion or anything like that, until later I decided I might look back into that and saw the logical arguments and was like, yeah, God definitely exists, but I still hate him. It basically put me at a deism added to me just hating him, because I was like, there's no way that he cares about us. But then, as I was thinking about it more, I realized something. I realized how insanely selfish that line of thinking is. I'm going to pull up something here. So, like I said, I realized that this is an insanely selfish way to think, because who am I to go up to the creator and sustainer of this entire universe and tell him, my life is what you need to be prioritizing. My life is what matters. You might have noticed me emphasizing words like me and my, because I want to emphasize that those are things that matter to me. I was being extremely selfish, trying to tell God, you need to focus on what I care about. You need to make sure things don't happen to me. Right? And that got me thinking, who am I? And who are we? Well, we're humanity, a species that historically does awful things to each other. War, violence, genocide, slavery, and other atrocities. Look up Unit 731, for example. I'll link an article on that. That is brutal. In the modern day, we pretend as if we have gone past that. We're better people now. But as it turns out, no, we haven't. Now we think it's okay to kill little babies out of convenience, or tell little children that they can transition and ruin their bodies forever just because of an impulse. And it turns out that it's really not that difficult to go back to those brutal ways that we've always been to. It's not that difficult. All you have to do is think of yourself in a situation where you have to do anything to survive, and I guarantee you, most of you most of you are going to do whatever you have to do and disregard all that morality stuff. And so to think that we as a species and as individuals, because as individuals, we are also guilty of a bunch of stuff. We hold each other to standards that we don't even hold ourselves to. Okay, it's very, very obvious that we are not deserving of even being here and even existing with the atrocities we've committed and still commit every single day. Okay? So, to me, hating God is a sign of extreme selfishness and pride, thinking that you are the most important thing in the universe when that's simply not true. I have a Bible passage here, Job. I have this pulled up where God has to humble Job, who was complaining because bad things were happening to him. And he's like, did you set this world up? Do you have to control all the things that make this possible? Like, look at this. Do you do any of this? And to most people, it'll look like, oh, God's just having an ego trip. No, it's not an ego trip if it's true. Is he, Job, or we responsible for keeping this universe in line and making sure everything is good? No. We destroy this planet. We've done any number of atrocities against each other and the planet for profit, and we do so every single day while pretending that we care. Okay? So this is not an ego trip from God. This is the truth. And so that's why I believe that it is insanely selfish to believe that anybody is deserving of any type of living standard. And this is going to be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people because they simply don't want to believe this. But I urge you to study history and current day events. Even if you don't agree with my political alignment, you will tell me without a doubt that there is evil going on in this world. Because that's just an unescapable fact. Even if you have a different opinion of what is evil than me, you're still going to say bad things happen. And the truth is, we are deserving of so much worse. If you believe the Christian narrative, which I believe, then you believe that the Son of God himself was crucified because he didn't fulfill the expectations that they wanted in the way that they wanted it. And I say they because, yes, it was the Jewish people in the Bible. But I believe that this would have happened in any time, in any people, at any point in history. We would have crucified the same man because we didn't like what he was preaching and he didn't fulfill the standards that we had set and we thought were going to fulfill a certain way. They wanted a conqueror, they wanted a king, and they didn't have that. And that's why they crucified him. Okay? So to think that a race that crucified the Son of God himself is deserving of anything at all is insane and absurd. So, yeah, that's my opinion on hating God. I'm sorry. I did get a little bit heated here. And I do still stand by what I said completely. But yeah, in summary, thinking that we deserve any type of living standard, in my opinion, is absurd. I mean, go read Unit 731. Like just do that for me. It's in the description. Just read through the atrocities, the things they did to children and little babies, and just tell me that a species who does things like this and who would do things like this on a moment's notice is deserving and is even has a right to complain about how the Creator decides to run his world. And even though we do this, we still have the chance to reconcile with him, and we still have the chance to be in, like, we still have the chance to go to God and say, forgive me, I need your help. I need an example to live by. And to me, hating a creator who would do that, because honestly, I wouldn't blame him if you just abandoned us. But hating a creator who would do that for us, give us a way to save ourselves, hating a creator who would do this is completely and utterly irrational and absurd. And I understand that this is an emotional topic and it's not easy to get over that feeling. Trust me, it's not. I know firsthand. But eventually you have to come and realize this. Okay? So with that being said, everybody, thank you for watching. I did get emotional, I'm sorry, like I said, but I hope this helped you in somehow. And I will see you guys in the next one.